points this year, including round 1 of the Triple Crown. A win today gives him 2 of the 3 necessary to win the $250,000 prize. 2 of the last 4 races fell to Kevin Windham. Before this season, Windham switched teams from Yamaha to the red of Honda. After some early disappointments, Windham has now joined the championship fight. But it's McGrath that is everyone's target at the Houston Astrodome. Seen some exciting sports history. There's been plenty of excitement down on that dome floor. Today it's Supercross. Athletes on motorcycles dancing in air. From the Astrodome, it's Pace Supercross, round 10 of the 16-round series. And there's Ezra Lusk. He's getting ready in this first of the 250cc heats. He is part of a group that is totally lined up, fielded by Honda to take a championship away from Jeremy McGrath.
Paul, when the season began, Honda, Suzuki, and Kawasaki all loaded for bear to try and target this guy, Jeremy McGrath, especially Team Honda. But here we are heading into round number 10. You got a 32-point lead, and you're in control of your own destiny heading for championship number 6.
Well, I feel really good, you know. My Chaparral Yamaha is working really well. And, you know, in the first year, I had kind of a little bit of a lag there. I wasn't riding as well. And I think I'm coming on strong now, especially with Daytona last week.
You still feel like the target's on your back?
Yeah, I always feel like the target's on my back. You know, those guys spent a lot of money to beat me, and it's quite flattering, but it's paying off for me.
Paul, the one thing about that target, like we said, it's on his back. They got to find it and chase it.
There's Kevin Windham on 14. He will be another of that group. And, of course, the third, all 3 of these very definitely having a possibility, is Mike LaRocco.
LaRocco has surprised everyone. He's the veteran. He's been around a long time. I think people may have counted him out, figured, well, he might be good for a top 5. But at this point in the series, round 10, he still holds down second within striking distance of McGrath.
With under 30 seconds to go now as they all set at the gate. Time of concentration, time of tension, David Bailey.
This is extremely tense, especially for the guys that are trying to close down the points lead to Jeremy McGrath. No mistakes, or they need to get directly to the final and have no problems. For Ezra Lusk, he's thinking a little bit about that $250,000. He already won the first round of this Triple Crown. Tonight's the second round.
And, of course, the third round, should Ezra Lusk win tonight, will be determined at Indianapolis in our coverage on ABC there. Here we go.
Ezra Lusk jumps out to an early lead.
Lusk gets a very nice start. Grabs the hole shot, moves down on the inside of the first corner.
On number 19, right behind Ezra is Mike Craig, challenged by Lusk's teammate right now, but number 19, Mike Craig, is just returning to action after an injury.
Fight is for second place. Lusk pulls away just a bit. Kevin Windham, teammate, number 14, comes into second. Craig drops back.
And this is beautiful. Look at this, Paul. They've got the whoop section this week split. We're going to show you.
Oh, neat fight for the lead here. And it changes already. Lusk gives way to Windham.
Kevin Windham running that left side of the whoop section. It's proved to be faster so far. Makes it work. Makes a nice clean pass around his teammate.
Craig stays in third. LaRocco on number 3, now in 4th place as he comes around Greg Albertine.
This is an interesting section here. Kevin he makes a little mistake. Makes it right in front of Ezra Lusk there, so Lusk can't go for it either. Now you see the different timing. These guys actually slow down out of the corner so they can jump the next jump over a bigger one and keep a faster momentum down the straightaway.
Remember, too, this is one of the heats. It'll be the top 4 that transfer out of this, so it's critical, really, to get one of those positions because then you go to the main rested.
There's LaRocco moving into third.
Riding back at third now. LaRocco, Craig Albertine. 2 interesting styles on the one place on the course that you can split.
Now you see how close they get in the corners. These guys are that close all around the track. A lot of confidence in one another to run that close and not cause any trouble.
So unchallenged at the moment at the front, Kevin Windham. Second is Lusk. In reality, top four, they're not going to care all that much. It's the honor of winning, but really what you want to do is get into the main. So here is our field summary. Midway point here in heat number 1. We'll be right back.
I've been racing since I was 3. I'm a pilot. I like to fly a little bit. Those guys are tough to beat. No matter what, we want a Honda up front. I guess you could say I was just a little bit hairier than the other kids. They said I was hairy like a bear, and then I was Yogi Bear, and now it's just Yogi. Je m'appelle Michael Pichon, j'ai 23 ans, j'habite en France.
I just feel like I'm on the right team and on the right place.
Try not to think about who's behind you. You know, you try to always race in front of you.
You feel like you can be free.
Out here, you don't worry about running out of gas. You worry about running out of dirt.
It possesses a passion inspired by the world's fastest Falcon. And a history that could only come from Suzuki. Introducing the incredible GSX 1300R Hayabusa, the largest displacement sport bike Suzuki has ever built. It's proof you don't need wings to fly.
Supercross is brought to you by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 99, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. And by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red.
All page with David Bailey back at the Houston Astrodome. Kevin Windham unchallenged. He's running away with this. Ezra Lusk is in second place, his teammate, but he is well back and about to come under fire by the third Honda in this fight, Mike LaRocco.
LaRocco is definitely starting to close the gap, Paul, and it's a little bit of both. LaRocco is riding well. He rode extremely fast in practice, had faster lap times than all the other Honda riders. It's about even with Windham, but I think Ezra's starting to struggle just a little bit, so it's making that charge of LaRocco look even better.
Again, part of the game here is for these top 3 riders, Windham, Lusk, and LaRocco, to simply try to get as far forward as they can so they can start an assault on Jeremy McGrath in the feature. This is the battle at 4th place. Michael Craig and Greg Albertine.
Well, Craig needs to hold on to this position. There you see they're split. Albertine a little bit faster through the whoop section there, but he's coming in on the outside. He squares back underneath. Not enough to get around Craig, and I'm impressed with Mike.
Albertine comes on the inside, tries to get him. Craig holds him off.
Craig really hasn't been mixing it up with these guys. He had an injury. He's been out of contention for quite a while. He was going to return last week, decided to save himself one more week, try to come in strong, and he's riding strong right now.
As we watch this battle for 4th, what about the front, David? Those 3 guys, should they try and fight with one another? They're 3 teammates.
Well, these guys ride close enough all during the week and in testing that they can get side by side everywhere around this racetrack and not cause each other any harm. It'd probably be helpful if Lusk and Windham were able to see each other and learn a little bit from each other, but they'll go back and review videotapes, so not too much of this will be a secret. And I can tell you this, McGrath is on the starting line of the next heat watching everything they do.
And taking mental notes, which he is so good at. Still watching this battle. Michael Craig on 19. Greg Albertine.
Craig this time with a little bit, he's about a 5 bike length lead through there this time. No mistakes. He's actually been able to open that gap back up. And it's very difficult to take time off, regardless of the severity of the injury, and come back and race with these guys. Albertine has been out here every week. Should be able to make a quick pass, but Craig is holding him off.
And remember, this is the critical position because first through fourth will move ahead to the main. So these guys are fighting for the chance to not have to race again until the end of the battle.
You know, for Craig, it probably wouldn't be such a bad thing. He's not in contention for the title. What he needs to do is go out and get some time on the racetrack, a little bit of experience. So if he was to get past, it wouldn't be a disaster because going to the semi, would be able to get a little bit more time, get more comfortable out there, and that shouldn't hurt him in the main event.
As superbly conditioned as all these riders are, does it truly make that much of a difference if you have to ride another race or another two for that matter? As Albertine takes the position, moves into fourth.
Not so much for the top riders. It ruins your gate pick to the starting line for the main event. But here, that looks pretty fair, so that shouldn't be as critical. For Craig, I don't think he's in as great a riding and racing shape as he would like to be. So, yeah, I think it'll be a little bit more wear and tear on him.
So Craig does not look like he could come forward and challenge Albertine for fourth position. It's the three Hondas, Wyndham, Lusk, and Larocco, 1, 2, 3 in this ride.
Albertine jumping over the biggest, highest jump I've seen on the circuit this series. It's a straight up base, about 6 feet high. Then they clear the whole top and another double on the back side. These guys are in the air a long time right there. They get to set up for the corner while they're in the air.
Highest jump thus far in the Supercross series. As we come to the white flag, one more lap to go. There's Lusk.
A little bit surprised, Paul, that Lusk wasn't able to stay here with Kevin Wyndham.
Back at the front with the leader, Kevin Wyndham.
He's just making it look easy.
Boy, how nice this is going to be. He's already beginning to show off.
Field clicker for the fans over there on the far side of the stadium over the triple. This is the most technical section on the racetrack. I looked at what they're doing here, and I'm glad I'm not out there because it looks very scary. One mistake through there could really cost you.
Now, they've all said that this is, in fact, the toughest track that they've seen thus far. We're looking at the battle for second place. Lusk and Larocco.
There you
4
see,
and 3.
You have a great opportunity right there, Paul, to take advantage. Try to make a pass. Normally what happens is that whoop section will form one line down the middle. Here, if the both sections get at one line, they still have 2 places to go.
Kevin Wyndham already across the line. Here comes the fight for second place. And Ezra Lusk takes the victory in second. And Larocco comes home in third. So it's Wyndham, Lusk, Larocco. The three Hondas are very definitely on the prowl.
Sweetwater Splash Car Wash in Sterling is the place your car loves to visit. Constantly improving their service, Sweetwater Splash has the latest technologies, cleansers, polishes, and equipment. Sweetwater pampers your car's finish with luxurious lamb's cloth, the cashmere of soft cloth cleaning. So bring your vehicle to Sweetwater Splash, Virginia's only award-winning full-service wash. It's a luxury your automobile loves. Sweetwater Splash, always your neighbor-friendly car wash.
The women take the floor for the Final Four. At 7, Michelle Van Gorp and Duke are riding high after their upset of Tennessee. Now they go up against Georgia's Miller twins, who have championship dreams of their own. Then at 9, Monica Maxwell and the Lady Texters are shooting for their second straight championship game. But All-American Stephanie White-McCarty and the top-ranked Boilermakers are prepared for a shootout. Georgia Duke at 7, Louisiana Tech Purdue at 9. The Women's NCAA Final Four, tomorrow on ESPN.
So it's Wyndham, Les Larocco. Now let's go down to Davey.
Kevin, after a slow start to the 1999 season, it looks like you're really starting to come to terms with the Honda. Great ride here in the heat race at the Astrodome.
I felt really good out there tonight, and you know, I can't thank Honda enough for sticking behind me through all the problems I had at the beginning of the season. You know, the bike's been great all along. I just had to come into my own, which I've finally done, and finally getting the consistency down that I need.
In the main event, it's going to be you, Jeremy McGrath, and Ezra Lusk. Which guy worries you most?
Well, you know, you always, you know, I'm glad to be considered one of the guys. You know, for so long in the season I wasn't, and you know, I think a lot of guys are going to be tough here tonight, and certainly McGrath, he's coming off of a win, and the winningest rider of all time, and you know, I'm just looking forward to having a good race, and I got to put in 20 strong laps to do it.
Well, we'll let you go get ready, Kevin.
Thanks.
Marty Reed mentioned the target. Well, the target is that #1 on the back of a jersey worn by the great Jeremy McGrath. He is here in heat number 2. 8 laps. Top 4 go to the main. Everybody else goes to the semi. This is the man they are all trying to catch.
That is a great big #1 on the back of Jeremy McGrath. And you can see right next to McGrath on his right is Tim Ferry, number 20. He's carrying the helmet camera. There's Randy Lawrence, Jeremy's mechanic, giving him that final pat on the back. He knows what to do.
The fact that somebody carries a little extra weight on the helmet, is it noticeable?
Well, I've carried it before, but back then the technology wasn't what it is today.
That was a 70-pound camera.
That was heavy. I couldn't even hold my head up. So I don't think it bothers the guys too much. It's more of a psychological
little distraction. Everybody at the gate, here we go. Keep an eye on McGrath. Whoa, he sweeps across. Now we're back. Take a look at what it looks like from mid-pack.
There you see Tortelli and Pichon, both Honda riders, tucked to the inside. Ferry over the double, but already McGrath to the end of that straightaway over the big CE mountain. Clean sailing.
Already massive air for McGrath. They are launching 20, 30, 40 feet in the air. McGrath, Lamson, Larry Ward.
So right away, McGrath could see that the riders in the first heat were using the left side of the whoops. Looks like Ferry is as well. There you see Waugh taking the inside. Over the big triple, 75 feet through the air. McGrath reaching over to readjust the clutch lever. The subtle things these guys do out there that they consider subtle. It's mind-boggling to most people watching here in the stands that he would let go of the handlebars in mid-flight like that.
Now you think everything that you're going to do is to just try and hold on. Look at the fight coming up behind McGrath. Lamson, Pichon, what a battle this is.
Pichon rides well on a very technical racetrack, and when it's hard packed and slick, that throttle control that he has is also to his advantage. I expect him to be a real threat tonight. I think if he had taken off right behind McGrath, he'd be pressuring McGrath right now.
We suggested, all the riders say that this is one tough and torturous track. All of the dirt here was brought out from the rodeo.
Softer soil than what we had here last year. Last year, the main groove almost looked like a street. All that loose soil was brushed off the top. It was very slippery. This year they got loam. They're almost having too much traction in most places out there.
McGrath pulls away. Lamson is trying to hold off Pichon. We look at that battle for second place as the run continues. 250cc Supercross, heat number 2 here from the Astrodome.
Catch me. Catch me. Catch me. Catch me.
Catch me, only at DunlopTire.com.
The rumble of a big V twin makes your blood race. You grew up on the pegs of a dirt bike. You could smell a carb running rich from a mile away. Call 1-800-994-3664 to find out how you can become one of the best technicians in the world. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute.
My apartment has a TV. I watch RPM tonight for my knowledge. The more I watch, the bigger it gets. Someday, I will share my knowledge with the world. That will be a fun day.
This week's Honda Flashback looks at the 1991 250 main event from the Houston Astrodome. Jean-Michel Bayle would be out in front but unable to pull away from the entire field of riders. Number 5, Guy Cooper, found a hay bale on the side of the track and fell out of 3rd place. That would leave it up to Bayle and number 7, Jeff Chicken Matasevich, to battle for the top spot. Number 11, Damon Bradshaw, would make the pass for 3rd place and the final spot on the podium. Number 1, Jeff Stanton, never got on track on this night and finished out of the top 5. This was Jean-Michel Bayle's first win of the year on way to the 1991 Supercross title.
Fight for second place continues. Lamson definitely under attack now. Mikel Bichon right behind him. He's able to pull away just a little bit, and then all of a sudden, Mikel will be right back on top of him.
Well, Mikel knows if he stays where he is, he'll be in the main event. That's a guarantee. But I think he's trying to learn a little bit on the racetrack right now. The one thing that really matters to these guys most is doing well in the main event. So they'll sacrifice a little bit in the heat race to learn different lines where they make and lose time.
And sometimes sacrifice not necessarily showing off everything that they found on the track itself.
Sure, if it's difficult to pass and there's only one good spot, you feel like you can do it. You don't want to show that to them in the heat race because they'll remember that for the main event and keep that door shut.
Back up front with the grand champion, Jeremy McGrath, won 3 this year, looking for yet another unprecedented 6th championship. Love to do it here tonight in front of a crowd of over 50,000 people.
Now Tortelli working his way up past number 31, Damon Huffman there. A rider down, so the riders are having to go slow.
And that's Lamson that comes to a complete stop, forfeits his 2nd place, brings everybody else forward. Lamson trying to get back into the fight, but it doesn't bring him back in a position that's going to help him.
He's got a long ways to go in front of him. Pichon, then Ward, Tortelli, Huffman, Ferry. You make a simple mistake and that many guys go by.
4 to go now. Pichon is in 2nd, followed by Ward and Tortelli. Those are your top 4. Those are the ones that will transfer.
They can see Jeremy McGrath going the other way down that straightaway, approaching the triple. That's got to be a little demoralizing knowing that they're only 6 laps into this heat race.
About a 6-second lead. That's more demoralizing. That's devastating. You're going the other way and you see him just bouncing around.
Doesn't help your confidence.
But of course, that's one of the reasons McGrath is, in fact, the great champion he is. He rides so easily and so well, makes what is very difficult look easy, which is the mark of a great champion.
Plus, there's a lot of riders out there that want that start, that coveted hole shot, but not everybody knows what to do it.
Oh, Huffman gets Tortelli, moves into 4th. So Damon Huffman now takes that 4th spot.
Trying to keep things alive for Kawasaki. The team has been struggling this year. He's got a chance to get by Larry Ward if he keeps the pressure on.
Ward on 7. Damon Huffman on 31.
Losing even more time to McGrath that lap. McGrath is gaining on the field about 2 seconds per lap.
2 lines here. Take a look at Huffman. He comes up and he's past him. Now they battle side by side. Looks like Huffman's going to be able to hold him off.
There you see a difference in strategy. Huffman jumping that big mountain, the whole thing. Larry Ward and Tortelli deciding to stay back down on the ground, get the power back. There you see
From
Tortelli.
almost 160 feet over the rider as you look down.
Tortelli getting a little bit of a swap there, is back in, dancing out to the left, closing off the line of Larry Ward. He didn't do it on purpose, but it was good for Ward to react and not get into trouble there.
Certainly got Ward's attention still. McGrath is the leader and unchallenged in that position at the front.
Here's the look from Tim Ferry.
Now he's right behind Ward.
They bump a little bit. Ferry's got the inside, and he drifts to the outside just to cut the line of Larry Ward off, make sure that pass sticks.
There's McGrath. Again, look at the smoothness of this style.
Well, you notice that his body doesn't move a whole lot. The bike just moves around underneath him. He stays centrally located. It's like those mogul skiers. They just let their legs take all that shock. Their body stays very still.
Learn that really taking what he said as he starts to show off a bit. The big jumps when he was a BMX racer on bikes. He would, as a young kid, he'd run ahead and run against the older kids, loved the big jumps, so I guess he lost his fear. And of course, when he made the transition to motocross and supercross, with the fear gone, everything else was easy on the final lap.
And he brought some of that style to supercross. There's Pichon in second still. He hasn't been really that outclassed by McGrath. Once he moved into second, the gap stayed about the same. So Pichon's on pace. McGrath has slowed a little bit in this final lap, so the gap has actually closed a little bit. Jeremy knows he's got it from here on out. Jeremy took a lot of that BMX style to Supercross, staying lower over the jumps. Patented knack coming from the BMX.
And the crowd loving every minute of it. Pichon still runs in second, Huffman back in third, but McGrath takes the win on the second heat for 250cc Supercross. Here comes Francis Pichon finishing in second, and we'll look for Huffman and then Sebastian Tortelli. So Jeremy McGrath has taken a win in the heat number 2, as he works his way toward the main event in round 10 of the 16-round series of Pace Supercross.
It's the most powerful custom on the planet. 6 cylinders, 6 carbs, 1,520 cc's. Only one motorcycle in the world can cruise like this. The Valkyrie from Honda. During custom finance days, get 5.9 APR on new Valkyries.
Hey.
I never want to see you again.
Wait, where are you going?
Aren't you bummed? She took my favorite jersey.
All weekend long, all kinds of racing. The race is on ESPN2. If it goes fast and looks cool, the race is on ESPN2.
Well, here are the top 4, and the ones who will transfer directly to the final: McGrath, Pichon, Huffman, and Tortelli. And right now, let's meet the winner of heat number 2.
Oh, it's starting to look very familiar to me. Jeremy, I got to tell you, after last week's win at Daytona and the way you cruised here, was this starting to remind me of the way you were riding when you won 15 out of 16. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I think I'm at the peak of the season for sure. I mean, I haven't felt this good all year, and my 800 Collect, Mazda, Chaparral, Yamaha's putting me right out in front, and it makes it easy when you get out in front.
But that spells bad news for everybody else in this field. I mean, the confidence level, you're not cocky, but you know going into this main event, you're the guy.
Well, the guys at Yamaha and all of us, we've been testing really hard, and we made a few changes a few weeks ago that kind of put me a little more comfy on the bike, and I'm having a lot more fun riding now, and it's not so out of control, and it's coming around. When your bike works, everything works.
Paul, comfy for him is a nightmare for everybody else.
Well, everybody wants a piece of that guy, the grand champion, Jeremy McGrath. Now, David Bailey is here with me, and Pace Supercross is celebrating its 25th anniversary. You were back riding when it all started.
I've seen a lot of change over the years, too, Paul. The tracks have changed the most. It's starting to look like a freestyle street course now, and because of the difficulty in the technical tracks, the talent has gone way, way up. And the series is much longer now. It used to be 4 or 5 races. Now it's up to 16. So the conditioning has gone way up on the top riders. They all have personal trainers. A lot of outside interest from sponsors, which has brought more money to the sport. More rides are available. The pits are packed with 18-wheelers now, and it's still a family sport despite all the change. And in the 25th year history of this sport, we're now seeing the deepest talent pool of all time. A lot of riders capable of winning the main event here tonight, and it's become a two-wheel version of NASCAR.
Well, here today, you would get a big argument on who's going to win, but they all agree on one thing. This is one tough track.
I've always loved Houston because of the size of the floor and also the soil. The most interesting section tonight, though, is going to be through the whoop section right here. You've got 2 lines of hay bales dividing up the center. I think it's something we're going to see a lot of in the future. And when they come around to the finish line jump right here, if they jump that whole thing, it's 90 feet, the biggest one we've ever seen.
So that track will, in fact, be the challenge. Who's down on the stadium floor to cover for us? Let's start with Davey Coon.
Paul, all year long, we have watched the tracks get progressively tougher and more technical as the Dirt Works crew tries to go out and throw more stuff at these riders. However, here at the Houston Astrodome, I got to tell you, they've taken it up another notch. This has to be the toughest track we've seen all year long. As a result, this afternoon, in the earlier practice sessions, Team Kawasaki lost 2/3 of their talent as both Ricky Carmichael and Jeff Emmett crashed themselves out of the program while trying to tame this course. Now, all year long, we've talked about how big the jumps have gotten, but nothing is as big as what we see in Houston. And the reason is they do this as a statement for C.E. Altman. The bigger the jump, the better the crowd. Now, with Kawasaki out, what it means is that Ezra Lusk has 2 less people to worry about. Right, Bernie Reed?
Well, Davey, thanks. The guy on my left is basically out of the championship chase. He's 60 points behind, but he has $250,000 at stake in the Triple Crown, and Ezra Lusk, I got to ask you how that affects your riding. You're going to be going and thinking about 250 grand?
Well, Marty, you know, mistakes have kept me away from winning this series this year. So all of my drive, all of my focus is going to be on this, winning this money. And I really want to try to get it back together here in Houston. It's a great track, great dirt, and Honda's been working really well.
Guys, I just found out something about this guy. The reason he is not 100% smiling right now, he hurt his shoulder in a crash Thursday in practice. That's on top of the accident last week at Daytona. Keep your fingers crossed.
Action continues, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Suzuki Fest 99, folks. Step right up. Pick a selected Suzuki sport bike and pick out $400 in free accessories. How about you, son? A Suzuki Katana 600 and a helmet? Or maybe a Bandit 1200 and a new leather jacket? It's up to you. There's lots to choose from. And choose from financing offers like 0 down, low monthly payments, or low APR. But hurry in. Suzuki Fest 99 and soon. Hey, don't need to get nasty. Suzuki Fest 99, folks.
Everybody I know calls her the cow, even people I don't know. I threw a parade for the cow because it definitely needed something to honor this moment. 300,000! It's really saying something to think that we went through 15 New England winters. It's just an amazing vehicle. It's been a really good buddy. It's been a good friend. And heck, we just need another excuse for a party.
Toyota trucks. How many miles can you put on?
I'm Judge Joseph Wapner. If you were awarded a structured settlement or lottery winnings payable over time, then I suspect you feel your money is all locked up. Singer Asset Finance has the key to unlock your money's potential by paying you a lump sum right now. Call now for your qualifying analysis, then receive this information kit free. Enjoy the benefits of your money now. A new home, money for college, a change in lifestyle.
Enjoy the benefits of your money now. Call 1-800-822-2160.
Hello, 911.
Oh, hurry, Sarah. My boyfriend is gonna die.
Stay on the phone with me, okay?
What should I do?
Every 30 seconds, a teenager reaches the edge. But only a few have the guts to jump.
Oh, there he goes!
Bands on the edge since '66.
Hello?
After finding himself back in the pack in the 250 main in Houston in 1994, Jeremy McGrath, #1, would have to work hard to take the top spot on this night. He slid by #5 Honda teammate Jeff Stanton on the inside. Then past #4 Steve Lapson with another inside move. Jeremy would show off a little with a look over at number 19, Michael Craig, as he passed him in midair. About that same time, number 6, Jeff Emig, was passing number 11, Larry Ward, for first. Jeremy got by Ward for second place, and then used a textbook block pass to take the top spot from Yamaha rider Jeff Emig. This was Jeremy's second of 9 wins that year, on way to another Supercross championship.
Set now for the first of 2 semis. First 5 go right into the main. Everybody else has to go to the last chance qualifier. You're taking a look at Michael Craig. He's just back off of injuries. He really would have preferred not to have to run in the semi.
Well, you know, it's a lot more wear and tear on his body, and Marty was able to take a look at him downstairs, and he's still limping around a little bit, so it's going to be a little tougher for him. However, I think what he wants right now is more time on the racetrack and experience, and since he's not really in contention for the championship, I don't see it as that much of a problem. There's Keith Voss.
Yeah, see the bump? That's our helmet can. Keith Voss on 28 will carry that.
You can see he's starting just to the left of what we've been calling the doghouse. That's where the official inside there trips the starting mechanism that drops the gate. That's built so these guys can't look at him, and the guys that are on either side have an advantage.
Another key rider in this, the first semi, Phil Lawrence, number 37. We'll keep an eye on him as well. 16 riders, top 5 to the main. Everybody else to the semi. And of course, in the or everyone else into the last chance qualifier. And just 6 laps to figure it all out.
See how fidgety everyone is right before the gate.
There's Lawrence.
Factory Phil. Got a factory ride, lost it, got another one, lost it. And that nickname is stuck. It's one of the taller riders on the circuit. Phil's been around for a long time. His brother is the mechanic of Jeremy McGrath, Randy. A lot of talent in that family.
A lot of creativity in that helmet as well. Not just in the paint, but in the design of the physical helmet itself.
A lot of these guys running that fin on the back become a fashion statement. A little bit tough to get the goggles on and off of it. But you can see Craig there now going for the goggles. It's lined up pretty far to the inside. I don't think the starting position is as important this year in Houston as we've seen in the past because of the configuration. It just makes a sweeping left. You can see riders positioned from where Craig is there to the inside, and even coming from the outside of that center doghouse, all those guys have the opportunity to get the whole shot.
You mentioned the fin as a fashion statement. It's just that. Can't have any aerodynamic effect whatsoever.
Well, these guys aren't going fast enough. However, at Indy, I'm pretty sure that if you throw one of those back there, it'll change things a little bit.
Boards down. We're ready to go. Tight battle. As they move into the first set of whoops, Michael Craig pulls it out in front. Craig with a hole shot. Pretty good gaggle battling for second, third, and all the way back through 6. 6 laps in this run.
Craig is a fantastic starter. He's followed right now by our helmet can. That's Heath Voss, earned second.
Let's go to Marty Reed.
Look, guys, you were talking about Mike Craig. I had a chance to talk to him right before the start of the race. He says, well, Marty, I got another problem. I sprained my left ankle. So he's limping on 2 legs. His right leg that was broken is still not fully healed. He says, I really do want to ride, though. Believe it or not, he says, I need to get more rhythm. So he's glad to be in the semi.
As David mentioned, Keith Voss is in second place with the helmet cam as he chases Craig. And on the last set of hairpins, he was, in fact, right up on top of Craig. Craig apparently sensed it and was able to get away.
These guys that gap will get a little bit closer as they approach the corner. You saw that there was a pretty big gap on the straightaway, but now look how close they are. Craig will accelerate away. That'll start to open up again. A little mistake there, though, by Craig.
He didn't gain on the leave of that last corner like you would expect he would. That whole product is a result of braking. First guy's braking first, and that gives the faster moving bike a chance to close in. That normally would reverse itself on the exit of the corner. If it doesn't, it means somebody screwed up.
In that case, it was Mike Craig.
Look at this, going for the lead. Heath Voss gets him on the outside, sweeps past. Craig back to second. Good battle going on for third and fourth as well. Binkley and Lawrence.
Craig really had an opportunity to park Voss up there in the hay bales. Decided just to play it safe, get in the main, enjoy this being back out there, not starting any enemies right away.
Well, and if you think to what Marty said, that leg is not completely healed, this has to be a very painful event for Craig.
Well, it'll be painful if he mistimes something. If he comes up a little bit short or jumps too far, lands out on the flat, that'll definitely hurt him a little bit. But once you get into the flow of things, a couple laps into the race, the adrenaline, everything takes over, and there's so much concentration, you don't think much about the pain anymore.
Again, they're getting some great altitude, and Craig is very definitely in there. The combination of the leader Voss and second place Michael Craig now have about 50 yards on third place factory Phil Lawrence.
That's what I love about the whoop section. You saw Voss make a mistake.
Oh! And Voss goes down, challenging with Craig.
Gives our helmet cam the drop test. He interrupted his concentration a little bit by making a mistake for the whoop section, getting past. And lost the front end up there in that loose soil.
That leaves Craig all alone at the front. Nearest competitor is Phil Lawrence in second place, Billy Binkley in third, and Voss was able to get back up and into fourth place, followed by Brian Stone.
Well, his concern now is just play it safe, make the main event. You can see him looking down to the right side of his handlebars and front brake. That's the side that hit the dirt. May have bent something a little bit. He won't be up to speed for the rest of the race, but as long as he stays in the top 5.
Back at the front with Michael Craig. It's Craig, Lawrence, Binkley, and Heath Voss, top 4. Brian Stone makes it 5. At this moment, those would be the transfer points. We'll be back with more from the Astrodome.
This quick, effective workout is brought to you.
Discipline, respect, confidence. You'll achieve that and more at U.S. Taekwondo Martial Arts Academy. Master Choi teaches total martial arts along with wisdom that will make you a happier, stronger person. With the only biomechanical kicking machine in Virginia, Master Choi has been teaching martial arts in Loudoun County for over 10 years and is a respected member of the community. U.S. Taekwondo, Bellwood Common Center on East Market. Call today.
Well, here I am working in the garden. This is tough work. Some of these plants need full sun, some of them need shade. Maybe what I need is a plan. You know, when you think about it, that's like life. A life that's most successful has to have a plan. Every week, hundreds of people are gathering together to learn God's plan for their life. Why not join us this week and learn God's plan for yours?
It was a shootout against Thomas Ravelli. It was the 5th shot. I just tried to relax myself and do the best I could, and I scored, and we won, and it was our first win. Yeah, that was a great feeling. I'm Leo Cullen. Have you seen me?
See him Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
Michael Craig was trying to catch this man, Voss, for the lead. Here's what happened.
We see Craig comes right in there, pauses just momentarily. Voss lost his balance, had to balance up there, couldn't put his foot down, had to reach too far to the ground up on that berm and fell over.
And so Michael Craig is left all alone, leading by a good 50, 60 yards now over Phil Lawrence. Binkley, Heath Voss, and Doug Stone is now running in 5th. Those are the transfers into the final. There's second place. That's Phil. Working down to the final moments of this, the first of 2 semis. Those 2 runs, then the last chance qualifier, and then we go to the main.
Phil here over the triple, starting to close a little bit on Craig. Doesn't matter that much getting a win here in the semi. It's not really worth extending yourself that much to go for it. You see the white flag as he goes over the finish line jump. That finish line jump this week's about 90 feet. If the 250s jump all the way to the downside, land on that smooth surface coming down, about 90 feet, biggest we've had this year.
Michael Craig, Lawrence Voss, Binkley on the final lap. White flag comes out for the remainder of the field. Michael Craig certainly is going to be pleased that he isn't going to have to run the last chance qualifier. That is assuming he can make it all the way to the end of this one.
Well, he makes a little mistake right there, loses his momentum. comes up short on one of those doubles.
Well, that's exactly what you said. If he does that, that really hurts.
Sure, he felt it. It'd feel a lot worse if he were to lose a position. Even though this is a semi, I mean, you'd like to transfer directly out of the heat, but getting a win in the semi still feels pretty good. He'll be happy.
California's Michael Craig takes the first of the two semis after a battle with Voss. It's resolved in his favor. Phil Lawrence comes across in second, followed by Heath Voss, and then Billy Bigley. Pace Supercross Series in its final stages now. Next, they race at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. And then on the 27th of March, on to the Trans World Dome in St. Louis. April 10th, the Silver Dome in Pontiac, Michigan. Then to New Orleans at the Superdome on the 17th of April. In Indianapolis at the RCA Dome, April 24. And the series and championship wraps up on the 1st of May at Sam Boyd Silver Bowl in Las Vegas, Nevada.
The swamps of Louisiana. There's only one reason why we would bring Honda ATVs to a place like this. To see if they could get out. Because if Honda ATVs can handle this kind of mud, this kind of terrain, this kind of non-stop torture, they can handle almost anything you'll throw at them. They're America's most popular ATVs for America's least popular places. Honda ATVs. Best on earth.
Dan?
Hey, Mark.
You and I go back a long ways, right?
Yeah.
You're my best friend. Well, I have something for you. It's number 62.
No, I can't.
Please take this.
This is number 62.
Number 62.
I'm going to cherish this for life.
Thanks.
No, thank you.
Pace Supercross is brought to you by Dunlop Tires. In motorcycle tires, Dunlop is superiority.
There's your top five. They'll transfer to the main. Davey, Michael Craig had two close calls during that run.
You know, Mike, we were just talking about how rusty you've been, but you come back, and no matter how long you've been gone, you're still getting those great starts.
You know, I sat there, and I got on my bike, and I had no time to test. So I told my mechanic, hey, call my last year mechanic, Marshall Plum. He told us what we ran. I said, let's try off of that. My new mechanic, Jungle, plan of Honda is working awesome. You know, I mean, my starts are there, so maybe I can get $1,000 in the main.
It looked like you had a couple little moves where you kind of made some mistakes or whatever. How's the leg feel?
You know, I hurt my other ankle, so right now I'm hating it. I'm going to go out there and just go 20 laps and try to keep it upright.
Good to have you back, Mike.
Thank you.
Ready for the second and final semi, moving toward the main event. Just one other run for the 250s, the last chance qualifier. The first five from this semi will, of course, move directly to the main. The rest go to the last chance. Number 7. Keep an eye on him, Larry Ward.
Just to his left, number 20, Tim Ferry, again running the helmet camera. Sign is sideways. Once again, Ferry just gets closed out. It's Sebastian Waugh, Dyson with Steve Lamson out front. It's Larry Ward tucking it tight. Ferry is just buried right here. He gets another rider coming on the inside of him, so he's sandwiched in the middle of the pack right now.
Lamson with a great run down the second straightaway, followed by Larry Ward on the red and black number 7. Red and black in terms of riding colors.
Lamson gets a little boost right there. He's able to double into the corner. Ward didn't, but he tucked it tight. Stayed right on his rear fender.
Was being forced into a pretty good battle for third place with Grayson Goodman.
Goodman, another great starter. start in Supercross becoming more and more important as this talent pool runs deep. It's difficult to work your way up through the field, even if you're one of the more skilled riders, because everyone's going pretty much the same pace these days.
Lamson, then South Carolina's Larry Ward on number 7. First and second, top 5 will transfer.
Approaching CE Mountain, electing to get back down to the ground. Tuck it around the inside. That seems to be the faster line. In practice, they were jumping the whole thing. There's a lot more air time. It looked a lot more fun. Got a big smile out of McGrath talking about that jump. He was throwing the bike sideways up there, but in the races, they got to get it back down to the ground. Shoot out forward.
Larry Ward now closing in on Steve Lamson. You know, my enjoyment in Supercross goes back to the early 80s when you were scoring your first victories, David Bailey, and I have never lost the thrill of watching a bike sail literally tens of feet into the air. I have no idea how it's accomplished.
A little bit at a time. The tracks have just evolved over the years to the point where I look at the jumps and I can't believe what I'm seeing out there now. Kind of nice to be up here in the booth and not have to take those chances. I mean, look at the height these guys are getting.
4 laps to go now. It's still Lamson and Ward at the front. Number 24, Steve Lamson, and they're the top 5 who will transfer directly into the main.
I think when the track designers built that section, they just came through. They didn't have any idea these riders were going to negotiate the way they do. They just jump through the whole thing, miss most of the jumps.
Looking from the top of the Houston Astrodome, Lamson still trying to hold off Ward. Whoa!
Ward having a good time, whipping it, getting the fans into it, looking over even. I don't think Lamson's having quite as much fun with Ward breathing all down his neck the way he is.
You know, that's one of the neat things. Despite all the growth, all the success of what is really the world's first extreme sport, everybody still seems to love the competition. The riders on the track seem to enjoy every minute of it.
Well, I know the riders are having a good time here. The track in Houston is always the biggest floor space. They don't have any limits with the amount of dirt they can put down because it's a dirt base. So they're able to make a wide racetrack. And they're getting ready to approach the widest section I've ever seen. I mean, this is just one lane. They have their choice. The track's 35 feet wide through there. You'll see a lot of passing.
Fight continues with about 2.5 laps to go. We'll be right back.
At a standstill, it might be compared to other sport bikes. At top end, it might be compared to other sport bikes. But at each and every mile per hour in between, comparisons become insignificant specks in the mirrors. The TL1000R, the only one of its kind on the track, from Suzuki.
Gordon, right?
Yes. Have you ever worked with anything high-tech? No.
Thank you for the resume.
But we're looking for someone with
more education.
Some experience.
Good luck to you.
What you don't know can hurt you. So let ITT Tech help. Call 1-800-942-0099 for an informative brochure. That's 1-800-942-0099.
Next.
Garden Glory's up for grabs on ESPN. Harold Jamison and the Tigers, Gino Carlisle and the Golden Bears. 40 minutes, 1 trophy. Clemson, California. The NIT Championship, tonight at 7:30 on ESPN.
Paul Page with David Bailey at the Houston Astrodome. Number 24, that's Steve Lamson. He is the leader. Larry Ward is in second place. This is the second and final semi. Top 5 transfer to the main. Lamson, in the past couple of laps, seems to have command of this race, and Larry Ward really seems to be satisfied to sit in second place. But we'll go back now to the battle for third place.
You see Grayson Goodman has been passed by Sebastian Waugh over the triple approaching CE Mountain. Grayson made a couple of mistakes early. The start really helped, but those couple of mistakes cost him. It still looks as though if he holds his position right here, he'll be able to qualify into the main event in the second week in a row.
Battle is tightened back up at the front. Lamson no longer enjoys the advantage he had. Larry Ward's right there.
Approaching one of the wider corners. This looks like an outdoor national style corner. There's nothing there, no obstacle approaching or at the exit. 3 lines through there. Lamson talking to his teammate McGrath, able to get the timing through there a little bit better. They were jumping a little different timing into that corner and out. Now Lamson's got the right line.
White flag has come out. We're on the final lap. California's Steve Lamson, the number 24, the blue of Yamaha, tries to hold off Larry Ward on 7. Ward's right there, though. They both choose to go down the same side here. But what does Ward have in mind?
Well, take advantage of this left rider, but he gets out of the way. They don't have much time to go now. Just stay close, let Lamson know you're on pace.
Make the turn for the checkered, and Steve Lamson finishes first, followed by Ward. So there's first and second. Top 5 will transfer. And for the 250 cc's, all that's left is the last chance qualifier and then the main. Before we leave you, our Honda close-up takes a look at one of the greatest riders of all times and my broadcast partner, David Bailey.
The Houston Astrodome was an awing sight to a young David Bailey, but to win here in 1984 made it extra special.
Houston for me is a little bit like Daytona in that I sort of grew up and watched the Supercross series evolve. I was here my first time in 1974, and I'll never forget just coming down the tunnel and seeing this massive stadium. That stuck with me. So it was always one of my favorite races because of the size, first of all, and my history here, but also I just love the soil. And to get that win was pretty sweet.
That same year, with Bob Hanna also riding 250s for Honda, the team asked Bailey to ride a 500 outdoors.
It turned out to be a phenomenal year. I had an equipment advantage on Brock Glover, who was my closest competitor. And, you know, so I look back on it and go, well, I definitely had an advantage, but I took advantage of the equipment, and I ended up winning 16 of the 20 motos. So that was my favorite year, but as far as being the most fun. 86, winning the 500 title was a little sweeter because it was everybody was in the class, a lot more competition, and that's when Johnson had such a phenomenal year in the 250 and the Supercross, and to beat him at the end of the year really capped it off for me.
His most dominating season was 1983, winning the 250 Supercross and national titles.
In the off-season, after the Trophy to Nations, I went over in place when Donnie Hansen was injured. I spent a lot more time with the team, a lot more time testing, and so I came into 83 really prepared. And but I surprised myself when I won Anaheim. You know, it was a complete shock, but once I won it, it just drove it deep into my mind that I could win anywhere, anytime.
A tragic injury quickly ended David Bailey's career.
There was a time shortly after I was injured where I didn't care about physical, you know, any kind of exercise like that because, you know, nothing could replace motocross, you know, and just the play riding. That's what I missed more than the racing. And then I started getting into wheelchair marathons, and that really didn't replace anything, but it was a way to get out and feel like I was still in good shape. I always was a big fan of the Ironman, but I never felt like I'd be able to go do it. And then these hand crank bicycles came along, and then I thought, well, I'm a decent swimmer, so let's see if I can put that together. And it was a very interesting year last year, training and getting ready for it. That was as difficult as the race itself, and looking back on it all, I'm glad I did it.
A TV analyst now for ESPN and ABC, Bailey still remains close to the sport that brought him glory and gold.
Fortunately for me, I was injured while I was winning, so I didn't ever really have that into my career where I was trying to get another win. It was tarnished a little bit, so I think I'm still held in pretty high regard with the fans, and that's to my advantage as well. It's really fun to do.
David Bailey, a 4-time champion. This week's Honda Close-Up.
I've been racing since I was 3. I'm a pilot. I like to fly a little bit. Those guys are tough to beat. No matter what, we want a Honda up front. guess you could say I was just a little bit hairier than the other kids. They said I was hairy like a bear, and then I was Yogi Bear, and now it's just Yogi. Je m'appelle Michael Pichon, j'ai 23 ans, j'habite en France. I just feel like I'm on the right team and on the right place. Try not to think about who's behind you. You know, you try to always race in front of you. You feel like you can be free?
What sets some people apart gives them the confidence to succeed on their own terms. It's no secret, it's the Wall Street Journal. Now you can have that confidence delivered for 13 weeks at just $36.75, just 57 cents a day. That's a 25% savings off our regular rate, which makes now a great time to try this limited time offer.
Call now, 800-248-1300. That's 800-248-1300 for the Wall Street Journal.
Put her in a good spot, okay?
Supercross is brought to you by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 99, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models.
Well, there are your top 5 from the second and final semi. They will transfer directly into the main, and they're led, of course, by Steve Lamson. Let's go to Marty Reed.
Nice reprieve after the tribulations of the heat race to come back and win a semi. This one went a lot smoother. What happened in that heat race?
Actually, I was riding really good. I just kind of got off to the side of the track a little bit and just hit some steep parts of the jumps and kind of clipped them there and put me on my head. But I learned not to hit that line no more. So,
well, let's talk about this run because it was a lot smoother.
Yeah, it was good. I got a great start, and my Chaparral Yamaha Mazda worked great, and thing ran great. Larry was pushing me there the whole race, but I just kept my cool and had a good pace.
Chaparral Yamaha Mazda. I think you got that out of order. Does that mean you're riding a Mazda now?
No, I kind of messed that up. Mazda Chaparral Yamaha. So my bike's working great, and the team's great, and hopefully I can go out there in the main and put it all together.
Well, we'll see you then, and we'll forgive you for getting the Mazda power plant in there, because I think that's against the rules, guys.
And with the last chance qualifier, Ryan Terlicki and Brian Stone made it into the main. Coming up next, the 125cc main event. Stay with us.
Sweetwater Splash Car Wash in Sterling is the place your car loves to visit. Constantly improving their service, Sweetwater Splash has the latest technologies, cleansers, polishes, and equipment. Sweetwater pampers your car's finish with luxurious lamb's cloth, the cashmere of soft cloth cleaning. So bring your vehicle to Sweetwater Splash, Virginia's only award-winning full-service wash. It's a luxury your automobile loves. Sweetwater Splash, always your neighbor-friendly car wash.
Years ago, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird went head-to-head in a classic NCAA final. Now you can see it in its entirety, but only on ESPN Classic. If you don't get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today. Only ESPN Classic can bring you this game from start to finish with insights from the men who lived it. Magic, Bird, tomorrow at 9 on ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today. Are you old school?
Well, here we go with the main event for the 125cc's. These are the guys you're going to see on the 250s as the stars of tomorrow. So it always makes for a great event. And here at the Astrodome with this massively open track, it should be even better.
There you see number 33 in the blue, Casey Lytle. He's lined up just to the left. Nathan Ramsey right there. He's got the light flashing on the back of his helmet. I don't know what that means. Trouble for everybody in the pack, but I thought number 33 right here, Casey Lytle, looked absolutely unbelievable in his heat race. He's jumping a few things out there that may be a little bit of a trick for Nathan Ramsey to try to pick up on in the main event.
Now, he was strong earlier in the evening during the heat run, and you expect to see that again. 32nd board is up. The crowd is really pumped, over 50,000 strong here at the Houston Astrodome, ready for the 125cc main.
David Pingree, number 60, lined up just to the left of Casey Lytle. Nathan Ramsey's teammate, number 195. That's Billy Payne. He's one of the newcomers to this class. Ramsey's the guy that's been on the hot streak, though. He's got 4 wins in a row.
Concentration. And here we go. The 125cc main is underway. 15 laps.
And a terrible start for Nathan Ramsey.
Andy Harrington actually gets the whole shot. That flashing light not helping Ramsey right now.
Right there, number 49, Michael Brandis. Just a slim lead now over second place Lytle. So a big advantage for Lytle to try to get out front while Ramsey's still buried in the pack.
Now Lytle comes up, comes alongside, starts the fight, cuts it down to the inside. They split as they run through the split whoops, 2 entirely different lines. Casey Lytle is going to take it through the hairpin and lead from there. Michael Brandis in second.
There you can see Vallejo, number 98, only goes for the double. That slows down the pack behind him and allows right there over the big finish line jump. The leader starting to pull away a little.
Vallejo part of a massive battle, just a little bit ahead of it for 4th place. Couple riders down, 5th, 6th, and 7th go down. Back at the front, there's Casey Lytle, his Yamaha, number 33.
Over jumps that triple a little bit. Times that jump nice. Big burst of power into this section. He triples in, comes up a little short. That's going to ruin his timing for the rest of the straightaway. The problem with that is if he keeps making these mistakes, Nathan Ramsey has already moved into 4th place. We'll be visiting him soon.
Ramsey on 25 in 4th. It's Michael Brandis that is actually running in 2nd now. Casey, though, still unchallenged at front, though Brandis trying to close in. Really can't do it.
I think Brandis is running as fast as he can go right now, and it's just not quite fast enough to keep the pressure on Lytle. Lytle and Ramsey there, number 25, battling with Vallejo. These guys have really established themselves as the top guns in this class.
Coming off that hairpin, the interval remains about the same, 1st to 2nd.
Ramsey jumping his way past Vallejo into 3rd for good. Makes that pass stick. It's a little more frustrating if you move into 3rd and you see that the leader's gone. Right now, Lytle rather has been able to pull away, but not quite enough, I think.
Flags out for a rider down in the hairpin. Nathan Ramsey, of course, from Texas, not far away. Plano is a true hometown favorite here, and they are loving it. Marty Reed?
Well, Paul, I've got my stopwatch out on Nathan Ramsey. In that last lap, he picked up 0.6 of a second on the race leader, and he's moved into 3rd place.
Isaiah Johnson has also been able to come forward.
In that last lap, Marty, just to add to that, the time that Ramsey's been able to make up. He goes for 2nd right there. Out front of this battle, Lytle made a mistake and was unable to go for the triple, so he lost a huge chunk of time there.
Nice move by Michael Brandis as he gets around Casey. Lead swaps once again. 12 to go. 125cc main, Houston Astrodome. Still the battle at the front of the field.
Ramsey gets the advantage. That was just sheer guts all the way down that timing straightaway, approaching the whoops. Ramsey just left it on. moved slightly out of the groove and took some chances, but it paid off. Now he's got second. He can see Lytle out front.
This is an amazing run by Nathan Ramsey. Kawasaki rider. Of course, he's driven on a little more because he is so well favored by this crowd.
Something that really helped Ramsey, I believe, was in the break. Going back to the East Coast, Ramsey jumped up onto the 250 bikes. Ran out there with the big boys, got a little bit of confidence. Actually finished 10th one time out on the 250. And coming back into the 125s, now he's got a lot more confidence, and he can just muscle that bike around the way he does through this section. Look at him jump through here. Makes up a huge amount of time every lap.
Look at the separation. Again through that hairpin. There's Ramsey.
We've talked about how difficult this track is. Well, we've been referring to the fact that it's difficult for the 250s. For the 125s, these guys can't even jump this whole finish line. Watch right here, he lands. It's the first time I've seen him clear the whole thing. He's been landing on the top every time.
There's your leader, Casey Lytle, 10 laps to go now. Once he's established himself in that lead, he seems very comfortable with it, and Nathan Ramsey's unable to challenge him.
Gap stayed about the same. You're right, Paul, that last lap. If Casey can settle down and not make mistakes, great timing through there. He won't lose any time this lap.
So Casey's still out in front, chased by Nathan Ramsey, and third is Michael Brandes. We'll be back with more of the 125cc main.
Suzuki has completely restyled the Katana 600 and 750, from their dual halogen headlights to their 4-into-1 stainless steel exhausts.
Same time tomorrow? Yeah.
So now they're just as impressive on the outside as they've always been on the inside.
Call toll-free to get free information by mail about the Craftmatic Model 2 adjustable bed. This wonderful bed adjusts to hundreds of relaxing positions, offers optional warm, soothing heat, and relaxing built-in massage, yet costs up to 56% less than these quality flat beds. Don't pay more to remain flat. Call toll-free and get complete free facts by mail about the adjustable bed that costs up to 56% less.
Call toll-free, 1-800-344-8300.
Passion, intensity, artistry. Act now and watch over 100 Major League Soccer matches you can't see anywhere else. MLS ESPN Shootout, a season's worth of excitement. Don't miss a beat of the heart-pounding, heart-breaking action. To order, call DirecTV at 1-800-DirecTV or PrimeStar at 1-800-PrimeStar.
Paul Page with David Bailey. We're back at the Houston Astrodome. Casey Lytle leads this thing. In fact, it's a very, very strong lead over number 25, Nathan Ramsey, with 9 to go.
He's been in this position several times this year, getting chased down by Ramsey.
2.8 seconds back to second place now. There is that interval. We'll keep track of that, see how it comes up next round.
When you just passed the mechanics area, you see they're all standing behind that wall, flashing the signals, giving him the intervals.
You know, I think he is more than nibbling away at him now. I'm not sure if it's a situation of Casey slowing down or Ramsey has suddenly caught fire, but he's got it down under 2 seconds as the interval now.
I think what happened was Ramsey was in traffic. When he did get into second, he got a little over anxious, made a couple of mistakes. Now he's settled down. And that pace that he's setting is proven to be a lot faster than that of Lytle.
Well, in the way he is closing with 8 laps to go, there's plenty of room and distance for him to do battle with the lead and take it away before this is over.
Now he's right where he wants to be. Johnson, that is. I mean, Ramsey.
Whoa, look at this, the fight for the lead. And Ramsey around him for the moment, but I don't think we're going to see Casey give up. It's whether or not he can actually keep with him. They both decide on the same side through the whoops.
Well, Ramsey had carved away so much time, caught him so fast. You like to be in that position. You're in the driver's seat. You know you're the fastest guy on the track. The big gap back to third, so you can afford to take some chances.
More and more, though, the slower traffic is going to become an issue. Though for a couple hundred yards, they do have a clear course ahead. 7 laps to go. So now just past the halfway.
See Ramsey just duck into that rut, get right back on the power. He's chosen a slightly different timing right there to double into the corner. It's proved to be a little bit faster than the timing of Lytle. Just little places here and there where he makes up a quarter of a second. By the time he put a lap in the books, it's a second and a half or two a lap. That's about the time he's been putting on Lytle.
There's your top 5. Ramsey out in front. Now seems very comfortable there himself. Looking for Lytle. There he comes going the other way. And that by itself has to be a great feeling to be able to look over to your left and see your competition. Because if you can, you know he's well behind you.
Well, especially after only 1 lap. So still, Lytle has not been able to find the speed necessary to deal with Nathan Ramsey. So if Ramsey can hold on, that'll be 5 in a row and a pretty good hold on the points lead.
Contrasting the two styles as we watch Lytle here, he is not nearly as smooth, it seems to me, as Ramsey has been as he challenged for the lead and then finally took it over.
You know, what we could be seeing right here is I know Lytle is capable of going a little bit faster. These riders' arms will pump up. I think he got out front, made a few mistakes, felt the pressure. He's been there so many times he wants to hang on to it. You get nervous, your arms pump up, and then you're just struggling the rest of the race.
Looking back to the fight for third, 85 is Greg Schnell. 198, Isaiah Johnson.
Gets a little off balance there. Nice save, but he's definitely got the pressure from Schnell now. There you see 49. Brandis, who ran second early. There's a one-line situation starting to develop in that whoop section on the left. So what happens is you get a rut through there, then not only do you have to deal with those bumps individually, but you got to deal with the rut as well. And that left side may not be as fast later on.
Johnson is third. Greg Schnell on 85 is fourth. Going back up to the front of the field.
You're right, Paul. When you watch Nathan Ramsey, he puts the bike exactly where he wants it, right on the downside, gets a great burst of power out of that berm. You can see in his posture, he looks more aggressive. He charges into the corners a little bit harder.
Davey Coombs with 5 to go.
You know what, guys, I got to tell you, I think that Nathan Ramsey is single-handedly keeping Kawasaki on the Supercross tracks. If you look what happened in the 250 class, and then the 125 program in the East with Nick Way not doing as good as expected, and then teammates Scott Sheik and Billy Payne having bad years, Nathan Ramsey is the only guy on the green bike we have seen on a podium.
Looking like he's headed for the top of that podium right now, too. You're absolutely right.
Well, if he keeps this up, that'll be nice bargaining power the next time he signs a contract. And I like the way he approached that section. He landed out on the side of a berm they built actually for the first corner. He's able to get the rear tire back to the ground a little sooner and get a drive down off of the berm. You might see that in the remaining laps. I'll point it out if I can. He's just having fun now. You can see him laying the bike over.
4 laps to go in the 125cc main at a wide open but a very tough track at the Houston Astrodome. But not tough for Nathan Ramsey. He fell way back at the start, then carved his way up through the field, finally took the lead over from Casey Lytle, and once he was past him, it was adios.
He's just soaring on confidence right now. The bike's working well. You know, I thought that in the first races where he had some problems that he was actually one of the faster riders on the racetrack, but now it's starting to show because he stayed clear of problems in the first lap.
Honda stopwatch here. We'll watch them as they all come through. Whoa! That camera a little bit over to the left.
That was close. The rider hitting the hay bale on the side of the racetrack.
I'll tell you what, this is just such a pretty ride. I mean, the word graceful actually applies here.
You can see riders down all over the place. Very difficult racetrack. It doesn't look difficult if you're Nathan Ramsey and you time everything right. If you ride it the way it's supposed to, it looks easy. But for the other guys,
look there. I think it's because of the slower riders, but for the first time we've seen them go down the right side of that section.
Right. And that's just a beautiful idea to have that option. You get in lap traffic and you want to take your favorite line and it's all taken up. You can move over to the right. And that line may not be as fast all the time, but certainly worked right there. 102 for his lap time.
102.6. Now they're saying that Ramsey, we get the reports from down on the stadium floor, may have a problem with the bike. Oh, man, how disappointing is that going to be? We'll watch the interval. Back to second place.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there who'd like to have that same exact problem with their bike.
Next time he comes around, it will be one lap to go. If there's any kind of problem at all, he's hearing it. This is going to be a couple of very long straightaways.
That time he had his choice of running the left or right down the whoop section, and he moved over to the right. So I think that rut is starting to aggravate the guys going down the left side a little bit.
One to go now. White flag comes out, final lap.
Well, if he did have a problem with it, it's not affecting him. He's got such a big lead now. He can cruise in.
Still keeping an eye on Nathan Ramsey on the Kawasaki.
There you see Lytle coming up short on the finish line. That's what I was talking about, how difficult it is for the 125 riders to clear some of the stuff that the 250s are actually having trouble with. Ramsey's the only one I've seen clearing that whole finish line jump every lap. Part of the reason why he's pulling away.
Again, the difference in riding styles here as they work the final lap for the 125cc riders. These are guys you're all going to see, of course, on the 250s in the future.
Lytle, to me, this does not look comfortable. Not hitting the lines he wants. He's jumping out onto the flat. The timing's off. And he knows it's over now. Flash bulbs are going off across from him over the triple as Ramsey goes the other way. He'll be frustrated not to be able to keep him.
So Nathan Ramsey takes the victory. Casey Lytle will come home in second as he runs for the checker in the big jump. A very tiring ride, certainly, for him, and an exhilarating run for Nathan Ramsey.
There's his mechanic. 5 in a row now, and a bigger points lead. There's Bruce Sternstrom from Kawasaki, the team manager.
So Nathan Ramsey does everything necessary, falls back, comes through the field, takes the lead, and takes the win. We'll be back.
Used to be, you could customize any part of your bike, except the tires. But now, create a striking design from the ground up with the bold new Cruise Max from Dunlop. Performance and style, with custom options like classic black, wide white, or raised white leather. Whichever design you choose, you'll make a statement without saying a word. Cruise Max from Dunlop.
Here's how you can more than double your current life insurance coverage without paying 1 penny more than you are now. Call Best Quote. We'll prepare a free rate comparison of 5 top-rated term life policies that meet your specific needs. Here's a sampling of the huge savings Best Quote has recently uncovered. If that's less than you're currently paying, call Best Quote today for your free rate comparison. There's no obligations and no hassles. Simply the best insurance at the best rates from Best Quote. No salesperson will ever call you.
Rick, this is Jim Hopkinson, a producer with ESPN Fantasy Games. Rick, you're a fantasy baseball owner. You going on strike is not going to bring Mo Vaughn back to the Red Sox. Take that up with their management. This is a business line.
Another big win for Nathan Ramsey. He's followed by Lytle and Greg Schnell. Now let's go down to Davey Coombs as we take a look at the remainder of the top 10.
Thanks, guys. Nathan Ramsey, 5 in a row. You just keep picking them up and knocking them down. Once again, Casey Lytle got away on the start. You rode smart, you rode comfortable, you reeled him in, you got another win.
Yeah, I kind of spun a little bit off the gate and hit that Parts Unlimited banner thing and spun a lot, and I came out, I'm not sure, probably 6th or something, and I seen Casey, he just went right into first, and I was like, okay, just be smooth, it's a long race, you know, and same thing, you know, I just tried to be smart and try to chip away. He was riding really good, you know, I want to give it up for him, and, you know, and my pro circuit Kawasaki is working really good. Bridgestone tires are hooking up. You know, and I got to thank God most of all for keeping me safe and giving me talent to do this.
Well, I tell you what, you came into your own at the right time because you're the only Kawasaki we've seen that's been up on the podium this year. You have a lot of consistency. You're riding really well.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You know, those other guys, they're having a little bit of problems, but they'll work it out, and they'll come back and win some races for Kawasaki too.
One more for the championship.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
Here's the way the points look in 125cc. Let's go down now to Marty Reed.
Yeah, and I got a very tired Casey Lytle right next to me, and I don't think it's a matter of if, but what lap did your arms pump up? Because you look like you're about ready to fall on that bike.
You know, it always seems to be right around the halfway point. You know, I try to get out there and get the lead, and I have a good pace going for a little while, and then right, it always seems around mid-race, you know, I start tightening up a little bit, and I've been working on that with my mechanic, Des Petrarca, at our track, and trying to get over it, but it's just something I'm just going to have to overcome with it, hopefully the next round.
Well, you got to, because he's starting to open up the points gap here, and we're running out of races.
Yeah, we got one more race left. You know, the only thing I can do is win the next one, and however the points end up, they end up.
Well, guys, he's still got a smile on his face, and he hasn't given up yet, that's for sure.
Tough competitor. When we come back, we'll be ready for the main for the 250.
Suzuki Fest 99, folks. Step right up. Pick a selected Suzuki Cruiser and pick out $400 in free accessories. How about you, sir? A Suzuki Intruder 800 and maybe a jacket? Or how about a Marauder 800 and helmet? It's up to you. There's lots to choose from. And choose from financing offers like 0 down, low monthly payments, or low APR. But hurry in. Suzuki Fest 99 and soon. Hey, I don't make the rules. Suzuki Fest 99, folks.
Whenever you call, wherever you call, wherever you're calling from, when you switch to Sprint Sense Anytime, every long-distance call on Sprint is just a dime a minute. And now, you get up to 100 minutes of free calling on our dime. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP now, and every minute of every day can be a dime well spent. Your calls from home, your calling card calls. Even calls to your personal 800 number are now just a dime a minute with Sprint Sense Anytime. Come live in a world created around you, where calls on the road cost the same as calls from home, and having a personal 800 number means collect calls are a thing of the past. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP for dime-a-minute calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even on calling card calls, too. Switch to Sprint Sense Anytime now, and you'll also get up to 100 minutes absolutely free. 1-800-PIN-DROP. Sprint ahead.
Temperature's dropping pretty quick. It's now or never. Data rolling. We're locking on subject. We're losing them. Copy that? Stay on target. This guy's nuts. Looks like we're gonna need a bigger mountain.
Pace Supercross is brought to you by Toyota Trucks, with you for the long haul.
Well, we're ready for the main event, the 250cc's. There's Jeremy McGrath here at the Houston Astrodome, and he is everybody's target. I'm Paul Page with David Bailey. What expects to be on a tough track, a wide track, an open track, one excellent event.
You can see right there, Jeremy surveying that move section. Look at all the riders parked right there. Number 14, Kevin Windham. They're all scoping it out. You can see both lines, the hay bales dividing up the track right there. So that's going to be one place where I expect to see a lot of passing. That's why they're taking so much time.
We're looking at the starting grid for this, the 250cc final. 20 riders, 20 laps. And can Jeremy McGrath inch closer and closer to that championship? Still, pretty good group of riders with a mathematical chance, almost 20, of making it to the championship, but it's doubtful that any other than Jeremy, maybe Ezra Lusk, as you watch him there. Of course, we've suggested that Team Honda is set up with a sole focus of taking McGrath out of a possible 6th championship.
Well, you know, I think everybody at the beginning of the year, including myself, possibly even Jeremy McGrath, thought this would be the toughest year to win a title. Looking at all the talent that Honda acquired, they already had Ezra Lusk, but then they added Kevin Windham. There you see number 14 riding back to the starting gate ahead of Jeremy. Also number 5, Mikel Pichon from France, very technical rider. There you see him lined up just to the inside of the starting box. So they have a lot of talent on that team now that could really do some damage to McGrath, but so far McGrath keeps finding his way to the front.
A little bit more on Kevin Windham. Here's Marty Reed.
Guys, first practice today, Jeff Stanton, team consultant for Honda, said Kevin Windham doesn't have it. All of a sudden, second practice, he came out, showed us quite a bit, and he did it also in his heat race. He could play the role of spoiler tonight for Team Honda in their quest to take that crown away from McGrath.
So we'll surely keep an eye on Kevin Windham. He will very definitely be in the fight, along certainly with Lusk and absolutely this rider, Jeremy McGrath. Why is he so good?
He's one of the smartest, I think, Paul. He is so talented, being able to ride fast at the right times. He doesn't take any unnecessary chances. He keeps his cool. He can come from behind. He works his way through traffic. I was talking to Larry Brooks as we look at the 30-second card up. Jeremy looks farther ahead than most riders. He's so aware of everything that's going on around him, so he doesn't get caught in any pileups or any problems out there.
We're in the 30-second count now, down to the start of the 250cc main. Crowd over 50,000 here. Now they show their sentiments. This is the largest floor that they're able to operate on. Keep an eye on the gate. McGrath down that inside. You ride back in the pack.
This is the view from Tim Ferry. He's back in the pack, but out front it is Jeremy McGrath and Windham side by side. Windham got the edge, Paul.
Got more than an edge as he pushes ahead of Jeremy McGrath. Windham leads this thing on the Honda, followed by the Yamaha of Jeremy McGrath. Battle at first and second.
Both these riders were dominant in their heat races earlier today.
That's Lamson back there in third place.
First time into that loop section split. You see a rut down the middle. Kevin went to the left of it. Jeremy went to the right of it.
The view from the top of the Astrodome. Oh, look at him fly. Windham leads. McGrath second. Here comes the rest of the field.
Windham is so skilled on the hard-packed technical racetracks. That's what we have here. But I talked with McGrath after the practice. He had a big smile on his face about his predictions for the race. He loves the track here. He says it's one of the most fun racetracks he's been on this year. Also one of the most difficult.
Under braking, McGrath appears to close, but Windham comes off the corner strong. In this sport of team competition, you always have to keep it in the back of your mind. Is Windham out there as a rabbit to pull Jeremy McGrath forward, or is this an easy ride? To me, it looks like Windham is very definitely on style.
He is riding perfect. He dropped the front wheel into a bump there and paused momentarily, but he picked it back up. You see he's on the power early over that mini triple, up to the big triple. That's 75 feet right there. Still able to get into that groove. You see he sits down on the motorcycle to make sure he gets all the traction as he accelerates up those double jumps while turning.
We're back at the Houston Astrodome. Windham leads, followed by McGrath. Lamson is third, Larry Ward is fourth, and Ezra Lusk back in fifth.
This race, of course, very important for Ezra Lusk, who won the first round of the Triple Crown. The rider that wins all three of those races. Tonight is round 2 of that series within the series, $250,000 for the rider that can win them all. Lusk got a long ways to go to catch his teammate Windham out front.
Larry Ward starts to work on third place Lamson. We watched him for a part of a lap here. Ward closes again under braking. Lamson comes off the hairpin well, takes the left side. of this split.
A great idea having the split down the whoop section, giving the riders an option. That'll really be an advantage when they get into lapped riders and a group of riders in front of them occupying one side or the other. They can choose the other side and not be held up.
We're still keeping you on the battle for third. Wyndham leads it. McGrath is second. They are not in contest right now. Lamson, though, on 24, is being worried by Larry Ward, and not far back from that is the 4 Honda of Ezra Lusk. So at the front of this field, it's Kevin Wyndham being chased by Jeremy McGrath. We'll be right back.
Discipline, respect, confidence. You'll achieve that and more at U.S. Taekwondo Martial Arts Academy. Master Choi teaches total martial arts along with wisdom that will make you a happier, stronger person. With the only biomechanical kicking machine in Virginia, Master Choi has been teaching martial arts in Loudoun County for over 10 years and is a respected member of the community. U.S. Taekwondo, Bellwood Common Center on East Market. Call today.
Well, here I am working in the garden. This is tough work. Some of these plants need full sun, some of them need shade. Maybe what I need is a plan. You know, when you think about it, that's like life. A life that's most successful has to have a plan. Every week, hundreds of people are gathering together to learn God's plan for their life. Why not join us this week and learn God's plan for yours?
News from around the world. Baltimore Orioles fly into Cuba, Havana City to host first major league team in Cuba in 40 years. American League's Baltimore Orioles take on the Cuban national team, Sunday at noon on ESPN.
Who's got the top team in St. Petersburg? It's the college basketball team you've been following all season long. Tune in to SportsCenter ESPN, ESPN News, or log on to ESPN.com for insight, analysis, and the final word on the Final Four.
Back with Pace Supercross at the Houston Astrodome, round 10 of 16. Kevin Wyndham on 14 as the leader. The man we had expected to be up here battling at the front seems to be struggling just a bit. That's the grand champion, Jeremy McGrath. There he comes over the finish line, Chump. Certainly still in contest, but Wyndham is easily able to hold his lead over McGrath. Steve Lamson sits back in third, being chased by Larry Ward. Ezra Lusk sits in fifth.
Kevin Wyndham and Jeremy McGrath both have just pulled away, made this a two-man race. They're riding above the track, finding lines out there, hopping over bumps, riding on the tops. Watch the timing through here. Over 3 jumps, 3 more, and 2 more into the corner. Perfect timing. He'll choose the left side of this whoop section and stay to the left of that long rut down the middle, you see. But Jeremy is starting to pick up the pace through there with that right side, just inching up ever so slightly, worrying Kevin Wyndham a little bit.
Interval closes just a little bit, 1.9. As they started into that section, it has closed more. Don't forget RPM tonight. John Kernan, get the latest from all the racing tracks around the country. If it is fast, it's covered on ESPN2 on RPM tonight.
This is where you really find out who's been doing their homework during the week. This is the battle for third. You got a similar battle in the out front for the lead. You got a rider pushing you like this. These guys are capable of going the same pace, Paul, but it's mistakes. They add up. As soon as you start to make those, you fall back and you give the rider behind you an opportunity to take advantage. Kevin Wyndham right now is being pushed to his max by Jeremy McGrath. McGrath's teammate kind of acting as a buffer right now back here in third spot.
We watch the 24 Yamaha, the blue bike of Steve Lamson. He sits in third. At the same time, just behind them, Lusk is able to get around number 7 Larry Ward, and the Honda is in second and closing. At the front of the field, it's still Kevin Wyndham. You're keeping an eye on the 24 of Kevin Wyndham, but the fight's back at the front. Just suddenly, Jeremy McGrath moves forward. He challenges Wyndham. It's a battle for first with 14 to go.
There was lapped riders that set that up. Kevin had to make a decision. It cost him a little bit of time. Jeremy, as I said at the beginning of the race, he's so cool. He's so patient. all those wins under his belt. He learned a lot from those, and he knows exactly when to make his moves. And right now, all he's doing, keeping the pressure on Kevin, forcing him to ride a perfect race.
And of course, sitting there from the advantage, and I say advantage of second place, he is able to watch every little piece of the track. And as you said, he's such a bright guy that he's just cataloging everything. Oh, he's fast through here, doesn't seem to be able to make it through there. 13 to go at the Houston Astrodome. Pace Supercross, the 250cc main. Again, slower riders into the mix in the battle for the lead.
Kevin hugging that corner so tight is actually his throttle side. Right hand is actually overlapping the hay bales that mark the inside of the corner, using every inch of this racetrack. And from Jeremy's vantage point, he'll be able to notice these slight changes in Kevin's posture out there on the motorcycle and see if he's getting tired. If he notices that, he'll go for the move.
And I think it was interesting there, they both chose the left side. Most interesting that Jeremy chose the left side. And look at this, he's right on him now. Again, slower riders the factor, but Jeremy decided that I'm not going to chance that other side. I'm going to stay exactly where he is. I go over there, I could mess this whole thing up. I stay here, I'll at least be with him.
Well, Jeremy is not only knows what to do when he's out front, but when he's in a battle like this, he's having to come from behind. He's able to limit the damage. Doesn't make any mistakes that cost him a lot of time. He'll lose a little bit of time in certain areas, but as long as he stays close enough to bother the rider in front of him, you won't see Jeremy fluctuating his pace very much per lap.
At the Houston Astrodome, Paul Page, David Bailey were watching the battle for the lead. That's McGrath, number 1, as he's trying to chase down number 14, Kevin Windham, and he's right there.
Well, what I like about Jeremy's line to that whoop section is that he is starting to gain a little bit of time, and he's on the inside as they approach the right-hand corner. So he's close enough there. If he doesn't make a pass before that, he's got a real opportunity to get in there and make a block pass, Paul.
Oh, 12 laps to go now. 12 to go. I would hate to be in Wyndham's shoes, knowing that there are 12 to go.
You see a little mistake right there. Actually, Jeremy made that same mistake the lap before. Came up a little short.
Tremendous jump at that point.
There's Ali Seymour. That's Kevin's mechanic. 57.46. That's the lap time. Kevin makes a mistake.
Oh, and the mistake is taken advantage by Jeremy McGrath as he motors past Yamaha back to the front. Honda falls to second.
There you see Kevin fall into the line that McGrath had down the whoop section. I think Kevin has the speed to hang with McGrath. The question is the concentration and stamina to go 20 laps at that pace.
You know, on one hand, you say that Jeremy McGrath, with all of his veteran years, 27, but veteran years, and his 5 championships, you would think that he certainly has the skill to read and follow. But on the other hand, you do have to give something away in terms of age over the younger rider.
Well, in age, you can make up a lot with experience and desire. And Jeremy's desire to win at Supercross is as strong as I've ever seen. And to see a guy dominate like this, you know, going into his 6th year of potentially winning a title, going for win number 56. If he gets that, he will double the number of victories of his next closest competitor, Bob Hanna, who won 3 titles back in his day.
Jeremy McGrath is the leader. He is an incredible rider. He's brought this sport to an entirely new pinnacle as Supercross has grown in popularity. He now leads, but he is being chased by Kevin Windham. We'll be back.
Everybody, get ready. Okay. There's me, and there's my 4x4. I'm picking up some speed. Here I go, up. Woo! Look at me move, and I look great doing it. Woo! Yeah! Look out, everybody. Here comes Tacoma Man. You're the bomb, baby, the bomb. The man.
So, what do you think?
I am everyday people.
Golf Digest presents 50 ways to lower your score.
To get greater distance, turn your right foot out.
For a better backswing, don't slide. Turn your hips instead.
Now, lower your score, drive longer, hit straighter, and play your best golf ever with the 50 new stroke-saving tips in every Golf Digest. Call now for your risk-free trial issue. If you like it, get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for just $19.97. Plus, get this stroke-saving video free.
Call 800-417-1200.
My girlfriend made me go to Cancun. I could not watch NHL tonight. When I got back, my knowledge was smaller. I hate Cancun.
Just past the halfway point now, Jeremy McGrath is the leader of the race here, the Pace Supercross, round 10 at the Houston Astrodome. He obtained that position when he got around Kevin Windham. We're going to take a look at exactly how that occurred.
As Kevin approaches this section, he misses his timing. He comes up a little bit short right there. Can't do the next series of jumps, and Jeremy, knowing that a mistake was possible, was just a little bit to Kevin's left. If he'd have been following them, he couldn't take advantage right there. That's where Jeremy is smart. He's always in the right place at the right time.
He's a tiger right there, just keeping track, and attacked when he could. Here's Ezra Lusk, who now sits in third place. He's steadily been moving up behind this battle. Windham, of course, is in second.
Well, third place from where Ezra started would be a fine ride, but I don't think Ezra will be happy with it.
It is not a $250,000 ride. Of course, in Supercross's Triple Crown, what he's looking for here is a win tonight. He won the first race scheduled for that. And in fact, if he could win tonight, he could go on to the race at Indianapolis, and if he wins that one, $250,000. So this is a third place man, but a very motivated man.
Long ways to go to catch up. Ezra has as much desire to win as anybody I've ever seen, but sometimes his decision-making out there hasn't been. I think he's come back and sat in the chair after the race and thought, boy, if I could have just held back a little bit right there, the results would have been entirely different. And that's been the difference between McGrath and Lusk. When McGrath doesn't win, he's third or fourth. When Lusk doesn't win, he's 11th or 12th.
The 250cc main, the Houston Astrodome, Pace Supercross. Jeremy McGrath leads. Windham second. This man, Ezra Lusk, rides in third. And this ride right now is costing him $250,000.
Well, what's going to happen now if Lusk can't pull off the win? If no one can win all three of those races, then it will be the highest rider in points of those three races, and that would be awarded $25,000. So still a decent payday, and right now McGrath is in the driver's seat to pick that up. He can pull off a win here tonight.
There are your top five. We're going to take you back up to the front of the field as Lusk continues to labor in third place. And watch Jeremy McGrath.
Still no mistakes. Drops right into that inside.
You know, he is every bit a great champion. Not only in his riding style, the championships that he's won, but off of the racetrack. In fact, I remember the Indy 500 champion, Eddie Cheever, saying that one of the congratulatory calls after the 500 came from Jeremy McGrath, and he does that sort of thing. Last year at Dallas, he came up to the booth to say hi to all of us. I mean, he's just a class act all the way.
You know, you think that with all that he's achieved in Supercross, that his attitude would change, but I really haven't seen any change in it at all. I actually got to sit with him without any interruptions this afternoon, and he's just so calm and so excited to be a part of all this, and I don't think he ever dreamed he would be this successful, and all this success hasn't changed him one bit.
Honda stopwatch is rolling. Second place Windham comes through. We'll watch the entire field come through as we keep a watch on Jeremy McGrath.
There you see it's about 18 seconds back to Ezra Lusk.
An incredible distance to try and make up. You know, you did mention, too, that not only Jeremy, but despite the incredible growth, the incredible success of Supercross, these guys still have kept that sense of family. They're still, you can walk up to them, chat with them. They have their sense of humor going. That's nice to see.
Yes, it is. There's a little bit of rivalry between some of the guys, but they can still go out and play a game of golf, hang out, and go play riding with one another. And because they realize, they have so much respect. They know how hard it is to do this, how much wear and tear is on you mentally and physically. And so there's an appreciation.
58.9, last lap, Jeremy McGrath. Yeah, after an event, late at night, you can find them all pretty much in the same restaurant talking it over.
Yeah, you see how deep that rut's getting now. Jeremy gets up and out of it, still over the double jump. He's always able to make the major obstacles. He may make a small mistake here or there, but doesn't make any that cost him a lot of time. And the lap time has gone up a little bit. It's gotten a little bit slower, back to 58 seconds. Jeremy can run that forever, but they were a little quicker when Kevin was in the lead earlier.
4 laps to go, back to second place. Kevin Windham on the Honda. Damon Huffman has moved into 4th place now around Albertine.
Kevin just made a mistake again, the same section that cost him the lead. So at this point, he's starting to realize that he didn't quite have enough for Jeremy. He's just trying to protect second place. He's really backed off.
With just 3 laps to go, we watch 14, the Honda of Kevin Windham. He's trying to chase down the grand champion, Jeremy McGrath. He's not having a whole lot of luck at it. McGrath, once he got past Windham, was gone. 3rd place is the Honda teammate to Kevin Windham, Ezra Lusk. 4th, Damon Huffman, and 5th, Greg Albertine.
Huffman having a fine ride here tonight. Carrying the flag for Team Kawasaki, really stepped it up. This will be one of his finest performances. In fact, if he can hold on to 4th, it will be his best performance of this series. We're 10 races in. Damon is starting to find his way.
Again, as we watch the leader, Jeremy McGrath, you have to consider in Supercross, not only is there the concentration and the mechanical aspects that you see in all other motorsports, then you add in the physical prowess that is necessary to take these bikes, throw them back and forth in the air. You now have to compare them to a top-level soccer player or a triathlete in terms of the kind of endurance they have to have.
Well, Jeremy doesn't really have to be in as great a shape as some of the other riders because he's so flawless. He doesn't use as much energy when he's out there riding, but he is very strong. There's a lot of weight work. He's got a trainer. There you see Huffman still in 4th place. These guys are in amazing shape, and the thing that impresses me also, Paul, about Jeremy is the fact that with all of his success, before every race, he is hounded by the press. He has so much more responsibility that takes him out of his rhythm, and through all that extra work and time that he puts into the sport and energy that he puts back into it, he's still able to maintain that same pace that carries him to the front every time.
But again, like the great champion he is, he seems, rather than to be bothered by it, to revel in it. White flag comes out, 1 more lap to go, and the possible 4th victory of the season as McGrath moves closer and closer to an unprecedented 6th championship. He certainly has been the master of the 90s, and he's going to wrap up this millennium looking terrific.
He's approaching the triple.
Wow!
Lays it over for the people. Flash bulbs going off. This is an amazing display of talent. Jeremy,
don't forget the fans.
He is a living legend. I've never seen domination like this for as many years. Guy's incredible.
In so many ways, he's made motorsports history, and we get to watch it again here tonight.
It's approaching another triple now. Fans are on their feet.
Now you got to wonder too, you're in the 250s, you're a great rider just to get there, and then you're riding along and somebody like this overhauls you with absolutely no effort, and like you got the anchor out. Jeremy McGrath, here he comes, there's the checkered flag, look at that! Ho-ho! And that is why he's so great. Kevin Windham comes across 2nd place. And Ezra Lusk will head for the line in 3rd. So we'll be back to talk with the winner, the great Jeremy McGrath, right after this.
Would you look at this? The Suzuki is off to a great start, and all of Daytona is on their feet as the TSXR screams to the tri-oval. The Suzukis are dicing for the lead on the inside of turn 11. He wants a piece of it. He's got it. Ah, but did you see
TSXR 600 and 750 AMA Supersport National Champions.
After 1999, there will not be any more sports in this century. So be sure you get the best of it. Call for ESPN the Magazine now. ESPN the Magazine is big, bigger in size, with unbelievable photos, interviews that'll surprise you, and your favorite ESPN personalities in every issue. In '99, don't look back, because ESPN the Magazine is mostly about what happens next, with previews, predictions, and amazing access to places you've never been before. Subscribe now. Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. $1 an issue. That's 66% off the newsstand price. And better yet, you'll get this official ESPN the Magazine polo shirt, absolutely free with your paid subscription. Before you know it, this century is going to end. So make sure to capture every great sports moment we have left. Call now for ESPN the Magazine and your free polo shirt. 1-800-544-9977.
I invested in the Associate's Degree program at ITT Technical Institute for a career in computer-aided drafting. The skills I received at ITT Tech gave me the basics I needed to succeed. I've had 3 promotions in just 3 years, and I'm now a project engineer. The name ITT Tech was a big factor. I really love my position and the responsibilities that go with it. Thanks, ITT.
ITT Technical Institute, 1-800-942-0099.
Supercross is brought to you by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 99, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. And by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red.
And we take a look at the top 10. And of course, it's led and dominated by Jeremy McGrath, Kevin Windham, the only other rider to sit at the top spot at any time during the run. We take you down now to Marty Reed.
Down here with Jeremy McGrath, career victory number 56. There ain't anybody else close. And this one you had to work for. This one like Daytona last week where you just ran away from the field.
Yeah, I thought I got a great start. You know, my Bridgestone tires were working really well out there, and we came off the line great. Kevin was riding hard, charging those first few laps, and he got away about 2 seconds, and then I kind of put the pressure back on and forced him into a little bit of an air, and I think he just kind of got a little bit tired, ran out of gas out there.
We talked about this being the most difficult track of the year. After riding 20 laps in less than 20 minutes, you feel that way now?
Well, these type of tracks always suit me really good. You know, it's a big track, a lot of room. You know, you're not forced into one line, and the guys did a great job with the track this week. You know, Pace is putting some effort into the tracks a little more, and you know, I can't say enough about that. Kevin was riding great, and I just put the pressure on him.
Victory number 4 this season, Jeremy McGrath closing in on championship number 6.
And of course, as we show you the point standings, Jeremy McGrath takes another giant leap forward in his quest for an unprecedented 6th victory in Pace Supercross. Now let's send you down to second place. Kevin Windham, he's with Davey Coombs.
Kevin, it looked for a while there like you were going to pull it off. You got out front. It looks like you were putting in some good laps. What happened?
You know, in a situation like that, I kind of would have rather have been in second, and McGrath was right there putting the pressure on me, and you know, I just made one mistake with a lapper and kind of changed the whole momentum of the race, and from that point on, I was just kind of started struggling. You know, Jeremy rode a great race and put in 20 hard laps, and you know, this particular night I just wasn't able to do it.
What do you have to do to change that? What do you have to do to get those extra laps in to beat McGrath?
I've done it before, you know, and all I need to do is start the race out comfortably. You know, with him behind me that time, you know, I was riding a little bit more tight than what I should have. Would have been better for me to be chasing him, but you know, that's the brakes. I mean, I felt good. My bike was working great for me. I just need to just shape up just a little bit.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
So Jeremy McGrath again proves he is the master.
Well, it was Kevin Windham that set a fast pace, but Jeremy McGrath stayed right there with him, and his experience and intimidation once again was too much for his competition, and he picks up win number 4.
Thank you for joining us here at the Houston Astrodome. I'm Paul Page for David Bailey, and Pace Supercross celebrating its 25th anniversary. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Only 2 more gate positions are available, and they will be determined by the last chance qualifier. Our opening qualifying round, including Mike LaRocco, who's second in points, and this man who took second in last week's race, Larry Ward. Ward, the young